This is the Saturday market in Goroka in the western highlands of Papua New Guinea. Most of the produce on sale is brought here by small farmers. In this young nation with its small population and vast land resources, the government is assisting small farmers to cultivate an increasing variety of agricultural produce in an effort to develop its agricultural sector. To do this, it is essential to acquire more reliable information on farmers' goals and practices and the constraints on their agricultural production. But the people-resources ratio in Papua New Guinea is an especially favorable one. In other, more populous countries of the Asia-Pacific region, rural development is not just an economic option, it is a survival strategy. About 70% of the region's farmland is worked by small farmers. Traditionally, farming families have used their land and other resources to make a living. But the degree to which they can effectively utilize the resources is influenced by the physical and national context in which they operate. The physical determinants include the quality, topography, and location of the farmland, the climactical conditions, water supply, and irrigation. In the national context, government policies on pricing, trade, and credit can stimulate or discourage a farmer's livestock or crop enterprise. Social and physical infrastructures like education, extension services, communications, market centers, and transportation networks can facilitate the exchange of produce and thereby contribute to the farmer's well-being. Religious and cultural factors also play very important roles in the lives of the rural poor. In Nepal, a farm survey with a complete analysis of the farming systems is being conducted.
Well, Nepalese economy is basically agricultural economy, and 90% of the population depends upon agriculture. Even out of 90%, majority of them are small farmers. Basically living in the rural areas. So we will be providing the farm business situations. What's their income? What's their cropping situation? So what are the possibilities for future? So that helps the planners, particularly national planning commissions, as well as the planners in the Ministry of Agriculture, to work out appropriate programs and projects which can really help in increasing productivity, farm productivity, and farm income, which help in raising the level of standard of living, I should say. We are rather very interested in using Farmap package, which is available with FAO.
The FAO Farm Analysis Package is being used to process all farm survey data. Enumerators were trained in field data collection and sent to 22 out of 75 districts in the country. Questionnaires were designed for subsequent computer processing with the Farmap package. The major objective of the study is to provide, at the beginning of the last year of the current 5-year development plan, a national, quantitative, up-to-date database for the farm sector, which can be used at different levels to plan agricultural development, to test the impact of policies, and to supply information to extension advisory services and agricultural research. Supporting information is provided through research stations, village leaders, and government officials. Through multiple visits to the farms in the mountains, hills, and Terai, information is being gathered on production, cropping patterns, land use and tenure, livestock numbers, and other farm household assets, and off-farm employment. A study on this scale generates a vast amount of data. As manual data validation techniques alone are inadequate to ensure that reliable data has been gathered, survey questionnaires are forwarded to the National Computer Center. At the National Computer Center, the survey data will be stored and processed using the Farm Analysis software package. Some of the project staff were sent for training to the Regional Farmap Training Center for Asia and the Pacific, which is housed in the Asian Institute of Technology. Farmap has been developed by the Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations. It was designed in response to the frequently expressed need for computerized tools for the rapid and flexible processing of farm household survey data. Farmap facilitates the storage, validation, and tabulation of data.
This one. So these data fields you compare with your input. And that was the
After the trainees were familiarized with the storage of data, they began validation.
These data.
This ensures that data is error-free so that tabulation can begin. Farmap can be used to produce a variety of tables that can be used for the analysis of a particular farm, an activity, or a plot. This economics table lists all inputs and the output for a maize activity and indicates gross income, gross margin, and net income.
The records that we entered.
All the data which have been compiled in these tables for analysis will benefit the farmer through extension services, better provision of inputs, and through improved agricultural policies.
Human power use.
But it's important that we print these tables so we can make later on analysis. So let's go and print. 3FF data. And now we
Farmap
print.
offers
and then
both
we get the
standard
table.
printouts and tables designed entirely by the user. Mean tables for groups of farms or crops can also be produced. Farmap can be used not only on mainframe computers, but also on various mini and microcomputers, so that the data storage and processing can be carried out in the field at reasonable cost. Now that the relevant project staff have been trained in Farmap applications, they can tabulate the data for the 2,300 farm households which were surveyed. This household composition table shows that a total of 6 persons are living on this farm. It also indicates actual labor availability. Tables on land use indicate the quality and size of landholding. This table indicates that rice is grown on parcel 1 during the wet season. The animal resources table shows the type of livestock managed by the household. This table indicates the man days of labor used for specific activities. Farmap is of particular use for the economic analysis of agricultural activities as well as for off-farm activities. Officials in the Ministry of Agriculture like Dr. Raj Bandari and Mr. R.B. Singh will be utilizing the survey data.
These data, when it will be available, will be quite clear about what kind of project that we need. We know how to plan our feeding resources for the livestock, how we should plan in the northern hills, middle hills, and the Tarai. In the same way, what should be our production program, like milk, meat, eggs, wool. Now, we don't know how much quantity we have to import and how much we can produce in our country. These figures we don't know. At the same time, we don't know the population. So it is very difficult for planning. Our plan will be more realistic when these data will be available.
How he is going to be benefited. With the systematic studies and information that we receive from different farms, its system, pattern, then we can diagnose and identify the problems and constraints and prescribe certain better modalities to improve his farming system. All the information has got to be utilized by the extension unit, who are the main wing to educate the farmers at a village level and propagate new ideas, new technologies, and disseminate them through different activities like training, demonstrations, participations.
I am asking these people to grow some of the improved cultivars of paddy, and this guy, as a progressive farmer, is growing this Janki, Savitri and PAU 41, this paddy for 2 years here, and he is satisfied with these 3 cultivars, and in future he is going to grow these cultivars also.
The road to rural development in Nepal is a long and difficult one. Nationwide data on farming systems are essential for policymakers, planners, extension workers, agricultural researchers, and for the farmers themselves. The Farm Analysis Package, Farmap, has been designed to meet the urgent needs of developing countries like Nepal.